Scrappy friends, welcome to another episode of Scrappy Chats with Crafty Meggy and Hannah. And today you have just me. So it is just me today, or this week. We had a super busy week or so, and so today I am just gonna fill in and do the whole thing, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Today we are working on podcast episode number 6. Can you believe it? We are over a month in. I am absolutely loving doing this podcast, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are getting some little tidbits and just enjoying listening to Megan and I. So I'm sorry you won't get that aspect of me and her just kind of going back and forth a little bit, but maybe we'll stay a little bit more on track this week. So today we are going to be talking about to piggyback on our last podcast where we talked about using digitals and like kind of how we like to use them, whether or not we like to use them. I thought it would be kind of nice to like go into it a little bit more since we didn't really get that into it. I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard because we get so off track, which is the kind of feel that I wanted. I wanted you to feel like we're just sitting at a table chit-chatting, and next thing you know, we're talking about a little bit more of things. But sometimes it's nice to get right into the meat of things. And so if you guys like that also, and you want us to do a little bit more of that, or you guys have topics that you want us to discuss, put them in the info box or the comment box below, and definitely make sure that you're subscribed and you hit the bell notification, because I make sure that I put all the podcast episodes on Premiere so that you guys will see. But we're also adding more and more stuff to the podcast and to this YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. So I want to get into some of that stuff later on at the second end of the episode. I want to talk a little bit more. I know I mentioned it last time, but I really want to get into some things that you guys can expect from us. And I'm super excited about where we're going this year. I know it is a completely new face to the Crafty Maven Getaway, but I want there to be elements of the old, of what we used to have. So we have some of that stuff going on as well. So today we are going to talk about tips for using your digital products. I think we all have some digital products that we've collected along the way in our scrapbooking, if you're anything like me. I have a ton of cut files, and I've gotten printables from kit clubs. I think that it started out for me with Scraptastic. I think that was the first intro into printing something at home to use. And I remember they used to have print files, and they were just elements, basically embellishments that you could print off, and they had a feature that you could print and cut them out too. And of course back then I didn't have a die cutter, so I did everything by hand. And actually when I was doing my For the Love of Homemade Kits kit this past month, I found some of those elements that I had that I forgot that I completely had. So I don't know about you, but I've collected a ton of stuff. And so along the way, and I want to say that's the first time. And then just like taking classes, sometimes you get some digital elements, and then also you can go along the gambit and go to a store or like online store and purchase like a whole collection, purchase cards, purchase cut files, and all that kind of stuff. So there are a different array of different products that you can use digitally. But if you're someone like me, who I absolutely love to get my hands dirty, and I love to like really get in there and put things on a page, and I want to play with it. I want to get messy. Sometimes I want things a little bit easier, so I'll use a sketch, or I won't use mixed media. But I thought it would be kind of fun to talk a little bit more about the mixed media element of using, and when you're more of that paper person, because I think sometimes, especially when I first started using elements, I kind of got stuck, and sometimes I forget that I can use them differently. I don't have to do everything digital, like all digital. Sometimes I think we forget, or we're for whatever reason, we're like, oh, I don't really like to do the digital thing. And I will say there are some downfalls and things, pit stops that kind of make it a little bit harder to use digital products. But nowadays digital products are so available and they're a lot cheaper than going, and you can have them at the ready and you can use it as many times. Like sometimes there's a pattern paper that I've bought in and I can only get that one pattern paper. So I have to really figure out and think, how do I want to use this pattern paper? Because I only have one, But with digital stuff, if you have a pattern that you absolutely love, or you have some elements that you're going to use up, you can just keep printing it, or you could it's endless, the possibilities of different ways that you can use it. So like I said, I want to kind of get in and I want to talk about some tips, because I think that sometimes I get in my head. So I thought maybe you guys do too. Maybe you guys get in your head. Maybe sometimes you're just like, Hannah, I don't know how to use this because I just love using paper. I just love having that in my hand. I want to play with it. And how do I incorporate this with my style? And how do I incorporate it in mixed media? So let's kind of get down and talk about it. And then if any of you guys have any comments or feedback or anything you want to chit chat about within this topic, definitely let me know if you guys have any tips that you found that help you use digital products. Because, the more the merrier. And that's what I love about this community, is that we just share so much. And so it's really nice to not feel like you have to gatekeep. I don't want to gatekeep. And that's why I started the Crafty Maven Getaway. I want us to just share our knowledge and share inspiration because it's out there to be shared. And that's how we're going to be better. And that's going to cause you to be better. So we help each other out by doing that. And apparently I'm going to be more hoarse because I'm just talking. No, I doubt it. Okay, so these are not in any real particular order, though some of the last ones kind of piggyback more off of the other ones, I think. So one of my tips is be prepared. So how do you get prepared to use a digital product? Well, that's could mean buying it. It could mean finding it on your computer. So you have to get these products. You have to have them in a place. So one of the things that I like to do on my computer, I have a Mac, which is a little bit different than Windows based, but not necessarily how. So you can still have folders and stuff just on a Mac. If you've never used a Mac, everything is like kind of out where you can see it. As opposed to Windows, it's kind of hidden. So you might have to search, but let me tell you, I search a lot on my Mac because I have so much stuff. So I have so many folders, and I like to create folders for the digital products that I buy. When you buy it, it comes usually together. Like some of the nicer collections, you're going to get a whole big folder. If you buy just some smaller elements, like like within my store, I don't have folders necessarily. Though I'm going to work on that because I think that'll be helpful for people who download stuff. But so having it organized on your computer so that you can find it, or your external hard drive if you need it, so that you just, or some kind of drive, even you can even use like a flash drive, but having it organized and at the ready so that you can find it and go, oh, I love that collection from whatever, or I know I have this sheet from whatever. Or I know I have this cut file. And so being prepared means being able to grab it when you want to use it. Also, one thing that I like to do when I buy something is just print it off right away. So I'm lucky because I have my own computer. I don't have a really fancy one like Megan's where it's a 12 by 12, but I'm okay with that because honestly, I don't use a lot of the papers entirely on a 12 by 12, or very rarely do I print out that way, but I do. and there's some companies that I've found that I know I like their style. But anyway, so when I buy it, I'll just print it off. I'll just print off the embellishment sheet. I'll print off some of the papers, and I won't print all of them off because usually when I buy a collection, and depending where you buy the collection, you might have a lot of papers to choose from, and you might know, I'm not going to use this, or I don't really care for that color, or I have some projects with this color and that's why I'm buying this. But I'll just print it off right away. And one of the things that I like to do to print it off is use either like some kind of thicker cardstock or thicker presentation paper. I know I've heard a lot of people say Hammer Mill's pretty good. I'm trying to think if I've used them before. You do have to pay attention when you buy that stuff, like the paper, that you're looking at the weight. I know when I've been printing off the stuff from the Crafty Maven that I've created, I've used just like the Michaels 8.5 by 11 size. So it's just a paper size, and it is a smoother cardstock, but it's not so matte that everything looks really washed out. So that is one thing to also be aware, that like depending what kind of paper you're printing on, and I know Megan and I kind of talked about this, but depending on what kind of paper you're printing on, the look of the colors are going to look a little bit different. I always hit best whenever I'm printing anything from home, because for pictures and for digital stuff, because I feel like that just kind of helps it a little bit better. Also knowing like what kind of files print better than other ones, and this might take you printing off a couple of things on your printer with different kinds of paper that you like to use and going, oh, I like this, or oh, I don't. And this is why, like Megan and I, when we were talking about things and I was talking about my printer, I'm like, there are certain things I don't really care. Like I don't like using matte paper in my printer at home. It does not turn out good. Everything looks really washed out just because of the way my printer is. But her printer or your printer might act differently. So playing around and being prepared means doing some test runs, doing some printing cycles, and seeing like what looks good, what kind of paper do I like to use, and go for that look that you're getting, because you might have to play around to get that exact look that you're going for. So with the saturation of the colors, because sometimes on your screen the colors are going to look a lot different. And also one thing that I found, depending on the style of how the designer is, and I noticed this with the Crafty Maven stuff, I like watercolor looks. So like if I was going to use that product as a PNG on like within my own computer and added it like all digitally, it would look a lot different than when I print it off at home, because it's a watercolor. So I know it's going to be lighter. And so knowing like, and you usually can tell kind of pretty, you can tell when you're looking at the file, like at the, whatever it is that you're printing, when you look at the color saturation. I find that like Tracy Reed, she has gorgeous papers. Like I noticed her new collection that's coming out. It is so gorgeous. It's so saturated. And she shows like what hers looks like when she prints it out at home. One, some of it's probably her paper, because she's got that figured out. Like she knows what kind of paper she likes to use, which is great. And sometimes just asking one of the artists, go, what kind of paper do you use? So like I said, I've been using cardstock. It's like a Michaels cardstock. It's smooth. I know Nina's cardstock is one that I've heard a lot of people use for printing. So just kind of playing around with that and seeing what you like. But if like you can, going back to Tracy's, this new collection is so saturated, and it's because she's not using like a watercolor look. So if someone has more of a textured look, or you're like burlap or something, sometimes the cards will look like burlappy or craft paper. I notice they just don't print as the same. They're gonna be lighter, they're gonna be less saturated, because they're not supposed to be as saturated. So knowing those things is going to help you in your using the products and figuring out what stuff do I want to use. because don't waste your money on products that you don't think you're going to. But anyway, so be prepared. You got to buy it or you got to find it. It needs to be organized. Play around with the different papers. And print it off. Print it off when you buy it. So it's just there. And then bring it to your room. You know, one of the things that I was doing for December Daily, because I printed off some stuff, is I was cutting out, because I don't have a die cutter anymore. I was hand cutting up while I was watching movies with my husband. Me and my husband, we absolutely love to watch movies. And so, and we watch cheesy movies. And so I just sit there because I can do that and watch the movie, but I don't have to, you know, it's not so labor intensive that I'm like, all I'm doing is, because sometimes when I'm drawing or if I am making a spread, like I worked a little bit on December Daily itself while we were watching movies. And I find that sometimes when I'm doing that, I'm looking down and I miss that jump scare, or I miss that stupid face that person was making while they were saying a cheesy line, you know? So, but anyway, so, you know, taking the time when you're doing needless stuff and you want to relax, and then you can fussy cut, and then you have those things ready. Like I did that even with regular paper. I cut out a whole bunch of hearts and leaves from a Vicky Bouton paper and Chamel paper so that I could add on my layouts. And I just sat there and while we were watching movies, I just cut stuff because I'll have it ready. It'll be all ready. So being prepared means having your stuff ready so that you can use it. And having it organized in just like your physical products, having it organized in a way that you're going to use it is going to be so helpful for you guys. So helpful. So that's my first tip is being prepared. So there's a lot of different elements in that. So the next thing is having a plan. So having a plan means having stuff ready, kind of knowing like what kind of stuff I want to use, what kind of layout, like knowing what kind of layouts you would want to use it on so that you can plan when you go to make that layout. So you're not going, oh shoot, I have to print off this paper. So before you make your layout, print off your paper if you don't have it printed off, you know, fussy cut before you even get working on that layout. Have it all ready and on your desk so that it's super easy to use when you want to use it. That one's pretty simple because it kind of piggybacks off of the next one. The other one is, especially when you're first starting off using digital products, I feel like there's so many. Sometimes you can easily get down the rabbit hole of going, oh, that's so cute, but it's not really your style. And it doesn't really go in with your style of scrapbooking. I love mixed media. Right? So certain things aren't going to work, but certain digital elements that are mixed media like, I'm not going to add those because I can add it already. Like I already can add that with media. So knowing what stuff you're going to use, what kind of style do you scrapbook in normally, and figuring out how you can implement things into that. So really knowing your style is going to help you use more digital products if you want to. Because like I said, you'll know by looking at a collection, that's probably not something I'm going to use, you know, and just stick to the stuff that you're going to use. Like for the longest time, I just used the cut apart, like banners and tags and stuff like that. I didn't mess around with, you know, trying to print off a paper and using the paper on there or whatever. So, and honestly, I really like it when I can just cut out elements and just use the elements because I know that that's a way I am going to use it because it's just a die cut, you know? And so, and with that, you can even, so, okay, I'll get into that because I could piggyback on that a little bit more as you get going. And so along with the using products that fit your style, and this is to start off. Once you get going, I think you can kind of play around with that too, but also start off small. There's no need to have every element on your layout be digital. Just use a cut file. use a small cut file for a title, or those little elements, just cut them out and use a tag on there, use a heart or whatever, use that stuff and then build up to, oh, I want to use this big pattern paper. How am I going to use it? So that is helpful when you start off slow, and then you can kind of build up as you get using stuff and as you get realizing how you like to use these elements, because each of the digital products are going to be different. And depending on your style and how you like to scrapbook and do mix, especially with mixed media, you might find that this kind of stuff doesn't work that great, because you can, like I said, you can use something else to give you that texture. So it's better to do this or this. And you're only going to do that by playing around. My next tip is thinking outside the box. Which kind of is scary, like at first. So that's why I said at first use the stuff that you're going to use, but then think outside of the box. Is there a different way that you can use your products? So one of the things that I think helped me use a lot more digital products was to switch it over and use it for project life. Because they're smaller pockets, I can do cards. I don't even have to worry about going out and buying cards, physical cards. And don't get me wrong, I love kits like Citrus Twist that have the pocket life. I love those because you get new cards every month. But you also can buy them, and then you can just add other embellishments or use print-off embellishments on those pages. And you can even do that with mixed media. You can print off a card and do some kind of texture or stencil work on it and then build stuff on it. But then it's in a small space. But thinking about different sizes that you could scrapbook that are going to be easier or better, different projects like junk journals, or so adding it to like an art journal, I've also done that a little bit with like planners. So you can just think about how could you use it in a different way than how you normally scrapbook, but that you're still getting use out of these digital products. Because a lot of the companies were creating this stuff because people are buying it. And honestly, it's like I said, it's so much cheaper for everyone involved, and you get it right away. You buy it and it's just like, it's right there. You don't even have to wait most of the time. So that is one of my next tips, is definitely thinking outside of the box. And don't be afraid to play around as you're going along, playing around. And it's okay. So my next little thing is, it's okay if you don't like it. It's okay if you have to take it off. And this is where playing around, you can kind of figure out how you like things, and also watch other people who do who use digital elements on other pages. There's quite a few ladies, especially on the design teams of like Tracy Reed has a great design team. I know Larkin Designs, Teresa, she's created her own digital stuff, and actually she had a class that was for art therapy, and she had a lot of digital stuff, and I've used it on regular pages and in travelers notebooks. I've also used it in art journals because she had a lot of stuff that could work in that element too. So watching other people who do that, because Teresa does digital on the computer, so she can show you how to do that. But then she also uses a lot of the digital stuff just on a regular page. So those people who do that often, watch their channels, see how they do it, and go, is that something that is going to work for me? And it's okay if it doesn't. So that, like I said, that's why my last tip is my last tip. It's okay if you don't like it. And if it's okay if you have to take it off or start over. It is okay, because sometimes we have to start over on a regular page too. Sometimes it just means you need to add more layers to it. Sometimes it means you need to do something else mixed media wise to make it look better. Sometimes it just means you need to take it off and just be okay with it not being on the page and say, I like this. This is super pretty. So don't ever feel like you have to stay committed to using your digital products if you don't like them. If it's a card or something, just because it's free doesn't mean that you have to use it. You know, it's okay. It's like, even like, it can go as far as, even if it means that, you know, when you buy that, say it's a grouping of stuff and you know, oh, I like this group, but I don't like this group, so don't download that group. Just save it, keep it in your emails, and then later on in life, if you decide that you want it, it's there. Or you can put it in a folder and forget about it and keep it there too. So just know you don't have to stay committed to using it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, and just move on. And it's another day, and that's fine. Because scrapbooking and working in paper crafting is so personal to each and every one of us. So we want our style to be on there. Your family wants your style in your books because in the end, you made it, and it's you on that page. So if you're using products and stuff that you don't like all the time, and you're doing styles that you don't care for, it's going to show up on your pages. And, you know, if that's how you want to do it, then that's fine. But I will say that my kids absolutely love looking through my albums because they're fun. And I would like to think that it's because they know that my mom created this, and this, in the end, it's really going to be, it's me on that page. It's me that made that says, oh, that's my mom. So that's one of the things that I keep in mind when whatever product I'm using and playing with is, am I having fun when I'm doing this? Am I enjoying? For the most part. Now, we all create layouts and projects that are not our favorite. And that's not necessarily the goal, is to be in love with every single thing. But to know that majority of the stuff that you're creating, you are enjoying the process. You are enjoying putting it together. Because then why are you doing it? You know, then your reason why, you just have to think about it, what your reason why is, and does that align with using any kind of digital product? If it doesn't align with your reason why, don't use it. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, I mean, yes, the designers who made it want you to buy their stuff. That, you know, a lot of us designers who've been in the industry, we're trying to make a living, right? We want to create because we want to create and make some money on, you know, and stuff. But we don't want you to just buy it because you're obligated or you feel like you have to try something, you know, and keep using it because you bought it. It's like, it's okay if you buy it and you don't like it. It's okay. So don't ever feel bad about that. So those are my tips. Be prepared, have a plan, use stuff that fits your style, and start off small, and think outside of the box with different projects that you could use your digital stuff on. And then also have fun and play with it. And if you don't like it, it's okay. So those are my tips. They're really simple, really, you know, not anything major. But I definitely think, you know, those are things that have helped me along my way with incorporating digital products. And I'll go months, I've went tons of time without using a lot of digital stuff. And there's been times where I've taken my silhouette and used the little sketch pens and did that instead of using it as like an actual cut file. So these are little things, like, as I say, thinking outside of the box. Those are little things that I think have helped me use products that I didn't think I would use. So, now I kind of want to talk a little bit about some stuff that's been going on at the Crafty Maven, because you guys probably noticed that we've had a ton of changes this year after being on quite of a decent hiatus. And you knew before we had a design team and different days of the week and different elements. So if you didn't know, the Crafty Maven started in, I want to say 2015, towards the end, maybe it was 2016. And it started off as a way for a whole bunch of us scrapbookers to kind of get together and work on projects that are fun, and a way for us to connect without like kind of connecting, if that makes sense. But then also to inspire everybody else with different styles. So it was a place that everyone could go. And it kind of was built off of the 2 peas in a bucket concept, because 2 peas in a bucket would have a ton of different designers and scrapbookers come together and share their different styles. And when that closed down, and then we kind of lost having more podcasts and stuff, I knew we needed something to fill that space. And I was, newer into the scrapbooking community and ready to like help out and be a part of the community. And so a ton of ladies helped me out, and we had a theme for every day of the week. So you can still go back and watch all of those videos. They're all there. There's tons of different styles. I absolutely loved that we have that such an eclectic style base to all of the scrapbookers that have been a part of the Crafty Maven, and some of them have been helping out for years, and then some just did a few. We had a few like guest designers. I want to say Victoria did 1 or 2. Jen Scow I think did something. I want to say Jill Sprout did something, because we had a throwback. And so we got, she created something. Who else? Arit did something. We had quite a few like guest designers too. So some bigger ladies who used to be like really scrapbooking. I know Jen doesn't really do that much out. I'm trying to think if we had Jen Chapin too. I don't know if we did or not, because she used to do scrapbooking too on her channel. Now she does not. Now she does food stuff. So it's super fun watching her like switch over and do something completely different. I think she scrapbooks like in her free time, which probably is not much. But anyway, so definitely if you have a hankering for some oldies but goodies, go and watch, because there's a ton of us that did tons of fun stuff. So each month we had a different inspiration piece. So that is an element that I have kept with the Crafty Maven, is that each month we're creating an inspiration piece, which is just a collection of stuff that from Pinterest that inspires. I know my husband was just telling me the other day, he's like, you really should just do all your pictures yourself, which is a great thought. I love him to pieces, and he is a brains guy and an idea guy, but it's like, you do realize that like not everything that I can find there I could recreate. So maybe one day we'll do more of that. But for now, we're using trusty old Pinterest, because for me, it's a way to go through Pinterest and be like, what are things that could inspire me? So each month we have an inspiration piece in which we use that to kind of base. And that was what we used to tie the whole month together, is using this inspiration piece, because, you could tie it together. You could tie everything kind of had a similar feel without being the same. So, so we're keeping that aspect, because I really want to keep some of the aspects of the Crafty Maven that we had before, while knowing that right now I don't want a team, because I don't have time for that. And I think we kind of have to rebrand and rebuild. So maybe at some point we'll have a team, or maybe we'll have some guest people come and do some fun stuff. But for now, it's kind of just me and Megan. So if any of you guys would love to like collab and do stuff with us, definitely make sure you let me know down in below, or you can message me, because at some point it would be nice to have some other styles and voices and stuff kind of going along. But for now, That's kind of where we're going. So the Crafty Maven is now a store. If you didn't know, and you didn't see all my posts this weekend while I was on vacation, by the way. I did not plan that very well. But that's okay. While I was on my vacation, our store went live. And so we have a digital mini kit that has some cards and some element pieces, so embellishment pieces that you can print off and cut out and use on your projects. They're super cute. I've been using some of them. So if you want to see any of my stuff, you can go to my channel, which the link is below in the description box. But you can go and check that out and see how I use some of them. So actually, I made a layout that just went live on Monday. No, it went live on Friday. So on Friday, and I used some of the digital pieces that I created. So those are all printables. You can get, so you can get it just the whole mini kit, or you can get just the elements or just the cards. So I had that so that, and we also have some freebies in there. So each month there'll be a couple of freebies. And so every month from now on the 15th, we'll launch all the digital stuff. So all that will be launched. And, or I should say the 15th, around the 15th. So whatever that middle month or middle week is. So this month in March, it's the 14th. So on the 14th, we are going to be having our big grand opening. So we kind of did a soft launch. So if you didn't check it out or you didn't see it, that's fine. But I would definitely encourage you to go over there and see what we have, because we also have a sequin mix for each month that is also inspired by the inspiration piece. So all the stuff that's created is inspired by that inspiration piece. So that will tie everything kind of together. So we have a sequin mix that I've created, and so we have that in there. And then we also have some just Valentine's looking red and white felt hearts. So some tiny ones. They're super cute. But for our grand opening, we're going to have the sequin mix. We're going to have another little element that you can use in your scrapbooking or on mixed media. So this month we're going to have some shamrocks, some little wood shamrock pieces. They are too big to go in the sequin mix, so they're all by themselves. But they're super cute. So we have some of those. And then we're also going to be doing some other mixed media elements that will kind of tie in with some of the other stuff. So I'm not sure exactly everything that's going to be in the store on the grand opening besides that stuff, but I know that there will be some stuff. There'll be some mixed media stuff and some stuff that you can use. I'm working on putting together like an add-on kit or like a mini kit that you can just buy that has some stuff that is not inspired by the inspiration piece, but some other mini kits that I'm hoping that I have 2 for the launch, but there might only be 1. So definitely be on the lookout on the 14th. The March 14th is the grand opening. So we also will be doing a hop on that day. So if you're interested in joining the hop, let me know. And you can find it around, I've posted a few places, asking if anybody wants to join in, and I'm going to be giving a giveaway. So you'll be, for the giveaway for the grand opening, the giveaway will be, a free mini kit for March. And I think I said sequins too, but I don't remember. So the mini kit with sequins. So I'll send those out to you guys. And I'm thinking about if I want to do something else special for the hop, but I haven't decided yet. So be on the listen for more details as we get kind of closer for the giveaway and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about the store really launching, because it's one of the things that I've talked with Megan about for years, and I've talked to other people and they're like, oh, you should do it. You should do it. And I've always like hesitated. And so finally I'm just like, okay, we're doing it. So I think we've got most of the behind the scenes stuff kind of ironed out, because, you know, that's why I did a soft launch, because I wanted to have that stuff kind of out of the way. But definitely check out that store if you're interested in digital stuff, because we do have some stuff in there, and we'll have more on the 15th, or the 14th, I should say. And then in April, at the end of April, on April 25th, we will be launching our first mixed media kit. So the plan is to have a monthly mixed media kit each month. So you can do that by subscription, or you can just buy one kit. And obviously it'll be cheaper if you get it on a subscription based. But I haven't figured out the prices yet, because I got to get the whole kits together all the way. But I'm hoping to kind of hit around that $40 mark, or like around, not have it be over $40, because I want it to be reasonable. So that's why we're going to do some different add-on stuff, which will be like throughout the grand opening. There'll be some stuff, and then probably as we get going, more stuff will be added. So, but on the 25th, we will be starting those kits. And so at the end of every month, you'll be able to get a mixed media kit that has some kind of specialty paper, a stencil. I will add the sequin mix to that, so whoever gets it can get a sequin mix. Some other kind of like paste or spray, some kind of media that month. I want to do, what else was I having in there? Because there's like a ton of stuff that I have a list for, and I didn't bring my list down. We're going to have some kind of pen or marker, something that you can draw on your media with. So there'll be a lot of different things that you can use, and some kind of like embellishment type thing that kind of goes along with media. So I want it to be scrapbooky forward, but on that mixed media side. And I want it to be different companies' stuff and not just one place. I know Shimmers has a similar kit, but theirs is all Shimmers stuff. And so I would like to kind of be broad, and I want to be able to bring in some different stuff. So we also are going to be putting together a little tin that has like watercolors or gouache in it, that has the colors for the month that go with the inspiration piece. So we'll have that available too. That will be in there on the grand opening. So there's going to be all these little things that you can add into your kit too as well. So I'm super excited, because I think this is something a little bit different than what other people are doing. And I'm really just like, I'm excited. And I want to add some stuff in the kit that kind of have like some texture. So there'll be lots of different textures and color, you know, and like feels and different things that you can add, but that are usable on a scrapbooking page. And, but you could use it on other projects too. So I want people to feel like they're getting something that they can learn from. So especially because I know sometimes I'm hesitant to buy something if I've never used it before. And I'm like, will I use this whole thing? So it'll be a good way for you to get your hands on some items, and some different items that maybe you've never tried before. So that's one of the fun things. Like, I'm really looking forward to putting like some gold flakes or some mica flakes, or using like the little micro beads. I think those are going to be super fun to add into different kits and stuff, depending on the kit that we're building. So look forward to that, because that is going to be in April. I wish that we would be ready in March, but we're just not going to be ready. And I want to make sure that it's really good and ready, but we're going to be rolling things out slowly and kind of making it easier for me, since I work. Well, and even Megan too. She works, and she is helping me along the way. but majority of this stuff is me. I'm designing everything, and then, you know, with the help of Megan, like kind of helping give some ideas. We want to also be adding some art journals. So I'm kind of looking for, so if any of you guys have any places that you know that you like to get art journals from, or designers, let me know and below, because even if I could reach out to, we kind of have a couple of people that we're thinking about reaching out and either doing collab with, or that we can have like some kind of coupon code deal with, so that people can get their items through there. It would be really nice if we could add it to our store, but anyway, so that is where the Crafty Maven is going. So we're gonna be eventually I probably will have a design team, but for now it's just gonna be a few of us, and I'll probably ask a couple of people, you know, here and there to kind of use the stuff so that other people, maybe a different reach of people, could see it and stuff. But I'm super excited because this is, like I said, this is something that I've thought about and kind of talked a little bit about with some of the people that I'm friends with in the community, and I just wasn't ready before, but I'm ready now, and I'm ready to like have other people excited and have other people use things that they maybe wouldn't think of using. So that's where we're going with that. So I wanted it a little bit different than just your regular scrapbooking kit club, because we already have a few of those, even though I know that they're kind of dwindling down. But I think that this will be something fun. And like I said, I know Shimmers has something similar, but it's just their products. And so I would really love to mix different types of products. I'm looking at some different pastes and paints and stuff and textures that we can really just add and make some really cool kits. So it's super exciting, and I can't wait for you guys to see it all and to enjoy it and use it and, you know, play and be inspired. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go for today. I know it wasn't a super long, though a little bit longer than some of the other episodes that me and Megan have done, because we've tried to do short ones. But be on the lookout next week, because I think we're going to talk about, I think we talked about talking about like getting prepared for like a trip or a vacation, and like how you do that for like with scrapbooking and stuff. So I just got back from a small little weekend trip, but I know last winter, so not this one that just happened, the one before that, I know I had a really big trip where I went with my husband to Mexico and friends. We went to Mexico City. And then I know Megan went to Mexico. She went to Cancun over the summer. So it'll just be really fun to kind of talk about. So if anybody has been on a really big trip and kind of wants to join in and talk with us, let me know. If not, that's okay. We can always, or if someone gets to me like way later, we can always find a different way. If anybody else wants to be on and talk about scrappy stuff, I know we have an array of stuff that we could talk about, because I don't know about you, but the more I scrapbook, the more I think about scrapbooky things, and I can tie anything into scrapbooking. But without further ado, I'm going to let you guys go, let you guys have a great scrappy week. I hope you guys are inspired just to use things that you've bought in that you haven't used yet, including all those digital elements. And I hope that you guys got some inspiration out of some of the tips that I shared today. So I'll see you guys later, and have a great scrappy week. Bye.